merge with source. The water slide. Here's a short story about a swimmer who clings to every curve of a giant water slide until he discovers that the slide is only carrying him toward the water he never truly left. On the brightest day of summer, a magnificent water park opened beside the sea. At its center stood a twisting blue water slide called the River Home. The slide curved through towers, tunnels, waterfalls, and open skies before emptying into a vast, clear pool below. A young man named Leo climbed to the top carrying a small wooden box. The attendant looked at it. "You cannot take that onto the slide." "I need it," Leo said. "What is inside?" "Everything that keeps me connected." Inside the box were photographs, letters, medals, names, promises, and little carved figures representing the people Leo loved. One figure was marked teacher, another was messenger. Others were labeled partner, friend, healer, and guide. "These remind me where love comes from," Leo explained. The attendant smiled gently. "Do they remind you of love, or do you believe they contain it?" Leo frowned. "What is the difference?" "You may discover that on the way down." Leo sat at the entrance of the slide and placed the box tightly against his chest. The water began to move. At the first turn, the slide tilted sharply. Leo grabbed the sides with one hand while clutching the box with the other. "Slow down," he shouted. The slide curved faster. Leo passed a painted sign. "Let the water carry you." "I cannot," he cried. "I might lose what matters." The slide entered a dark tunnel. Echoes surrounded him. A familiar voice seemed to call from inside the box. "Do not let go of me." Leo held it even tighter. When the slide entered the sunlight again, the box had grown heavier. The little figure marked a teacher seemed to say, "Without me, you will lose the way." The figure marked partner whispered, "Without me, you will not know love." The figure marked messenger warned, "Without this form, the message will disappear." Leo struggled to keep his head above the rushing water. Ahead, another sign appeared, "The symbol points." "It is not the source." Leo became angry. "These people helped me. These relationships mattered." The water answered through the curves. "You are not asked to deny what helped you. You are asked to stop making the helper the source of what was given." The slide dropped suddenly. The box flew open. Photographs, letters, names, and figures began floating around Leo. He reached frantically for each one. The harder he tried to gather them, the more he spun. A calm lifeguard appeared beside the slide on a raised platform. "Leo," she called. "Release the box. I will lose everyone. You are losing the ride while trying to preserve its symbols." "But the love came through them." "Yes," she replied, "through them, not from them." Leo looked at the figure marked teacher floating beside him. "What happens if I let it go?" "You keep the lesson and release the belief that wisdom belongs to one body." He looked at partner. "And this? You keep the love and release the belief that love depends upon one form." He looked at messenger. "And the message? You let it lead you beyond the messenger." Leo loosened his grip. One by one, the figures floated away, not destroyed, but carried gently along the water beside him. The wooden box became lighter until it dissolved into the current. For the first time, Leo leaned back. The water held him. He passed through a wide open curve overlooking the sea. The horizon stretched farther than any photograph could contain. Leo laughed as the slide carried him downward. He no longer tried to merge with every wall, tunnel, sign, or person he passed. He allowed each part of the ride to serve its purpose and move on. At the final turn, the slide became almost vertical. Leo felt the old fear return. "If I surrender completely, what will remain of me?" The water seemed to answer, "What is real does not disappear when resistance ends." Leo crossed his arms over his heart and whispered, "I bless every messenger. I release every role. Carry me beyond the symbol." He dropped. For one breathless moment, there was no slide beneath him. Then Leo entered the great pool. The water surrounded him completely. He opened his eyes beneath the surface and saw the little figures floating nearby. They were still present, but they no longer seemed separate from the water holding them all. Leo rose to the surface laughing. The lifeguard waited beside the pool. "I thought merging with Source meant losing everyone," he said. "No," she replied. "It means releasing the demand that anyone become your source." Leo looked back at the twisting slide. Every curve had helped him reach the pool, but no single curve contained the destination. So the relationships were not mistakes. They were part of the ride. The confusion was asking temporary forms to provide what only the whole can give. Leo placed his hand over his heart. I kept trying to merge with the messenger. And now, Leo looked at the wide pool, the flowing slide, and the sea beyond them. Now I let the messenger point me toward what has always carried us both. From that day forward, Leo still treasured photographs, teachers, friendships, and relationships. He listened when spirit spoke through them and gave thanks for every helpful form. But when a form changed or disappeared, he remembered the water slide. He kept the blessing and released the container. He honored the messenger and followed the message. He allowed the horizontal journey of people, places, and events to open into the vertical experience of direct connection. And whenever fear told him to cling, Leo leaned back and whispered, "I do not merge with the passing form. I merge with Source, the water carrying all." May we sing, rest, and dance our way home together.